University. This was the first debate since Donald Trump had called for a ban on all Muslims coming into the United States. Can you talk about the back and forth we saw here and overall the response of the Republicans around this issue?
Yeah, well, here's my summary. Should we be committing war crimes in the Middle East by carpet bombing civilians, or should we be having dictators bomb civilians in the Middle East on our behalf? Oh, wait, if we do that and we ban Muslims from coming to the United States, then how are we going to have those dictators come over here and discuss which people we're going to bomb? So let's let in some Muslims, but then take away their rights. This is the tone, this is the kind of feel of last night's debate. It is unprecedented to have this level of hateful rhetoric directed against Muslims. We're back to the kind of full-blown war on terror from 10 years ago. The difference this time is, at least after 9/11, we were responding to what was an exceptional event. The tragedy about San Bernardino is it's a perfectly normal event. It's a mass shooting, and those shootings happen every day in America. Normal?
Can you explain what you mean?
Well, we have, if we want to see San Bernardino as exceptional, then we're basically saying we care more about the 45 people in the United States who've been killed by Muslim terrorists since 9/11 than we do about the 48 who've been killed by right-wing terrorists since 9/11, than we do about the 400,000 who've been killed in gun-related crime since 9/11 in the United States. Right? That number is the size of a small country. But we choose specifically to focus on this one issue of Muslim terrorism, and that is our only idea of violence that we think about.
And did you see in any of the 9 candidates up there any more sane approach among them, or did you see, distinguishing one from another?
I mean, as I say, the variations between them are the different ways in which we might abuse people's rights and go to war. There's no one who's really taking a principled stand. And unfortunately, this is true not just of the Republicans, actually, but across the political establishment. I mean, we have not seen anyone, actually, in mainstream politics say the objection to Trump is straightforwardly because he is making racist statements, and we know the history of his country and we know where that leads. No one has said that. What people have been saying is pragmatic arguments. We should not say this stuff out loud because otherwise people in the Middle East might turn into terrorists and come and bomb us, which of course feeds his exact narrative that Muslims are these kind of scary people on the verge of becoming terrorists.
CNN moderator Wolf Blitzer asked Dr. Ben Carson about his proposal to monitor, quote, anti-America sentiment.
As far as monitoring is concerned, what my point is, we need to make sure that any place, I don't care whether it's a mosque, a school, a supermarket, a theater, it doesn't matter. If there are a lot of people getting there, engaging in radicalizing activities, then we need to be suspicious of it. We have to get rid of all this PC stuff. And people are worried about somebody's going to say that I'm Islamophobic or what have you. This is craziness because we are at war. That's why I asked Congress, go ahead and declare the war.
Arun Kundnani, Dr. Ben Carson's comment.
What Carson, Cruz, Trump are all doing is making explicit in their rhetoric what is already implicit in policy terms, right? So we already have a situation where, every mosque in New York City has been under surveillance simply for being a mosque. We already deported thousands of people from the United States simply because they're Muslim. We already have over 1 million people on terrorism watch lists, right? These kind of statements are actually what they're doing is they're putting out in the open stuff that I think the people who see themselves as more mainstream would rather just keep quiet. And I think that the objection from people like Hillary Clinton to what Trump and Cruz and Carson are saying is, of course we have a Muslim problem, but let's just do this a little bit more quietly rather than making it so obvious. That's his real sin, is to speak out.
We're going to break and then come back to our discussion. Arun Kundnani is the author of The Muslims Are Coming, Islamophobia, Extremism, and the Domestic War on Terror. He's an adjunct professor at NYU, and we'll be joined by others in our roundtable discussion as we bring you more clips from the Republican presidential debate held at Sheldon Adelson's casino last night in Las Vegas. Stay with us. Hi, I'm Amy Goodman. I want to thank you for tuning in to Democracy Now! We are so grateful to our fans and followers for being a part of the daily conversation. By choosing a news source that's committed to the truth, you're carrying the message of independent media, reaching hundreds of thousands of people every day. In these times of war and elections, we need a media not sponsored by corporations that profit from war, but a media that's truly independent, funded by you. Democracy Now! Is not paid for by the weapons manufacturers, the insurance industry, or the oil, gas, coal, or nuclear companies. We don't take advertising or corporate underwriting dollars. That means we rely on your donations to make our daily independent news hour possible. We need your support today to keep bringing you the hard-hitting, in-depth reporting you've come to expect 5 days a week. Visit democracynow.org, or you can call 888-999-3877. That's 888-999-3877 to make your holiday gift to Democracy Now! Today. Thanks so much for sharing Democracy Now! Stories all year long.